Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars. We're up to 72, and how do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out with Zach and I holding coffees. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted, and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
With leatherette becoming more and more common, even in luxury brand manufacturers, is real leather eventually going to be phased out? Is real leather still the superior material to leatherette? By the way, I feel vegan leather is an absolute joke, but great marketing.
Well, it's really hard on the vegans. Like, if you're making leather out of them, it's the poor vegans.
That's our main concern, are the vegans. Here, can I just say
I just want to say one thing about vegan leather. Vegan leather is a joke. It's just called, it's called vinyl, and it's made from oil.
Petroleum, yep. And so it's not really environmentally friendly, but for manufacturers, it is cost effective. Now, there are vegans out there who do not want to have anything to do with animal products. And so they want leatherette. We've had viewers where we maybe complain about a luxury brand having a very high starting price and they're using leatherette, but some say, no, I really like leatherette. That's what I would go for anyway. So it really depends on the person. I also find like leather looks so good. It smells so good. And it regulates your temperature better than leatherette.
And the old leather of the old days that cracked and faded, it's really not a thing anymore, because the leather actually is treated so much that it's got a coating on it. So when you put sort of leather conditioner on it, it doesn't even soak in. So the best thing to do is just use a damp cloth and wipe it down regularly. Here's the thing about leather. Leather is a byproduct of what? Cows. We eat a lot of beef. And so much of the cow hides is going into waste. It's just getting thrown away. I know this for a fact because I just watched a video last week of somebody in the UK who's bringing back their traditional handmade leather goods. And I was interested in this. And he was saying a lot of it is just getting thrown away, or it's shipped to Asia, and that's where they manufacture the leather product. So it's a byproduct of something we're consuming already, which is beef. So it's not like there's more cows dying to make your seat. It's just not the case. They're just using a portion of it to make leather goods.
Sure, but if you're a vegan, you want nothing to do with a cow dying.
I understand.
Period.
I understand the vegans don't want that.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, it's leather seats are a product of something that's being consumed already. It's recycling if you think about it.
And then there's also some really good leatherette. Lexus makes a great leatherette. I think Toyota's Softex is very good.
Hyundai makes great leatherette.
Yeah, Kia is actually, with their new models, are moving towards a leatherette interior. They won't even be offering leather.
Now, if you're old school and you know your Mercedes, you know MB Tex. Look that up. The old school leatherette.
We have an ML350 and a Fusion plug-in hybrid. In the future, we're going to be moving to a condo that has underground parking without electrical, so the plug-in hybrid is out. ML350 is too big. We like the comforts of the Mercedes-Benz. We want a hybrid for good gas mileage. Suggestions for a small, under 67 inches tall. Is that like 5 feet 5 inches? Is that right?
You got there.
That we should test drive. I'm thinking RAV4 hybrid. Anything else? You guys are the king and queen of car reviews.
Well, it's funny. We were just guests of Lincoln at the beginning of the Vancouver Auto Show, showing their Nautilus.
That's right.
Nautilus, right?
Nautilus,
I always get Aviator, Nautilus. Anyway, they got the
Corsair.
names. Corsair. They're confusing. Anyway, they have a Nautilus hybrid. Okay, so it's not a plug-in, and outside of Lexus and Toyota, not mainline brands, but outside of Lexus for luxury, it's the only other pure hybrid that doesn't need plugged in.
Yeah. And the thing about Lincoln is that typically their seats are very comfortable unless you get the 30-way seats. I think they need some improvement on that. But we sat in the Nautilus at the Vancouver Auto Show, and the seats felt pretty comfortable. Obviously not 30-way seats in that particular model. So that is one to check out. The problem with the luxury brands, they're all plug-in hybrids. No one is offering a hybrid, so you have to look at non-luxury. You could go for the Hyundai Tucson hybrid. I think that is terrific. Or the Kia Sportage hybrid, both very quiet and refined when it comes to driving.
I just thought of one, Andrea.
Yeah.
This is one of your favorites. I'm surprised you didn't bring it up.
Which one?
Get it while you can. The Santa Fe, the 2023 Santa Fe is basically the size you're looking for and available as a regular hybrid. And that one, there might be still a few kicking around on dealers' lots. They're bringing in an all-new Santa Fe, which is totally different. But the existing one might be perfect for what you need.
And that existing one is a 5-passenger. There's very little hard plastic.
And
it still
luxurious.
has tons of buttons in it. That is such a good model. So check that one out, but it won't be around for long. Long-time listener, second-time caller. Love that. Honda Group did their here's what's coming up and touched on Acura. They mentioned a new SUV, and I'm hoping it's the CDX sold in other countries. Any general thoughts on this announcement? So Acura did confirm that they're coming out with a subcompact SUV. I think this is really needed in the lineup. I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner. Now, they don't have a name for it. It could be called the CDX or it could be called the ADX, but it's coming.
I remember seeing it at the Geneva Motor Show years ago, and I stopped in my tracks. I looked at it and I go, that's the perfect utility. Why don't they bring that one in? And it's probably got to do with the fact that they're going to hybridize HRV.
Yeah.
Civic lineup, and that will be the basis for whatever that new model is. I totally think that there's room for that.
It'll be fantastic. Can't wait for that one. Best YouTube car experts. Thank you. Do you think Kia Seltos 2025 will come in a hybrid? The next best option in that crossover in Kia family is the Sportage hybrid, I feel. What are your thoughts? Looking to get one next year. My lease for Seltos 2023 is up next year. We spoke to Kia, by the way, about the Seltos hybrid. And they said, when we asked, now they're not going to tell it.
They're never going to tell us.
No, but they said no. If you want one, get the Niro.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The Niro and the Seltos, if you actually measured the room inside, the Niro has an amazing large back seat and a big cargo area, especially when the seats are folded down. It's really well designed. It does everything well. It gets incredible fuel economy. It's a little gutless. And it's only front-wheel drive. But you know what? If you're wanting a thrifty runaround hybrid, Niro's your one.
Yeah, the Niro's really good. We enjoyed it. We drove the pure EV, the plug-in hybrid, and the hybrid. And one of Zach's favorites was the hybrid. I really like the PHEV, but I also like the hybrid. So that's something to consider. Now, we didn't get questions on a few things that we wanted to, topics that we wanted to touch on.
Why couldn't you read our mind?
Yeah, why couldn't you ask these questions? We felt that they were important topics to cover. One is in Quebec, in Canada, the provincial rebate for full electric vehicles by 2027, the Quebec government will be eliminating it.
Well, it's interesting to see because in British Columbia, they amended the rebate last year or 18 months ago, and they dropped it down by $1,000. And they also means tested it, meaning you actually have to show your income tax to qualify. And if you have a high income, you're not getting as much. Quebec's gone the same route. So it's means tested. I think the federal rebate should also be means tested.
Yeah.
And because I'm sick and tired of people, this isn't our neighborhood. We're living in a very we're shooting in a very fancy neighborhood. This is the fanciest neighborhood in Vancouver. And there's so many electric cars. There's one sitting right over there. And these people do not need a rebate. But I guarantee you they take it.
They get it, for sure. So in Quebec, just because there's no provincial rebate in 2027, they'll still qualify for the federal EV rebate of $5,000 in Canada. So this is how it's going to work. Right now, for 100% pure EVs, the Quebec government offers people
a lot of money.
$7,000. $7,000 for a rebate. Now next year...
Wait. Plus the federal rebate. If you're quick at math, like I'm not, that's 12 grand.
That's a lot. So I want to get the numbers right. So in 2025, it's going to be dropped to $4,000.
So it's going from 7 to 4.
In 2026,
so that's
$2,000.
Just a second. So 2025, we're talking January 1, right? So that's like 8 months away.
It is. 2026, $2,000, and 2027, $0. Plug-in hybrids right now get a $5,000 rebate in Quebec. In 2025, it drops to $2,000. In 2026, $1,000. And in 2027, Zippo.
Okay, so we were in the company of Benoit Charette and also Eric Lafrancois, two top Quebec journalists that we were on the Ford program together, and Andrea, and we both asked, what do you think the appetite for this is going to be in Quebec? My prediction was a provincial election is coming, and the parties that want to get into power will say, oh yeah, the government that's in power, they want to get rid of your rebate. We're going to give you that, and we're going to make it even better. That's my guess.
So Benoit, I asked him that, and he says no, he doesn't think so. He said that this rebate that Quebec offered was not supposed to be around forever, and it's time to eliminate it. So he doesn't believe that they will move forward.
I just want to say one thing about taxes and forever. Okay, when they brought in income tax, they said it was temporary.
GST.
Yeah, they said income tax is temporary, and here we have income tax 100 and something years later. So, you know, when they say it was temporary, anyway.
So the province has an $11 billion deficit, which is an all-time high.
Yep.
So, you know, you got to start cutting somewhere. Anyway, they could have just said next year, done. They're going to phase it out, which I think is a good idea. Another thing we wanted to talk about is the Biden administration in the U.S. has announced that all new vehicles by 2032 will be electrified. Hey, guess what? They've included hybrids.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You know why? Because all of the car companies are squealing, the domestics are squealing at them, saying you pushed EVs and we made the EVs and people aren't buying enough EVs to make it profitable. Now, take Tesla out of the picture because all they make are EVs, right? So they have economies of scale. You've got traditional makers like Ford, and they're losing thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on every single EV they sell. So they said, we want hybrids in the mix. They're so powerful in the U.S., the Biden administration has done that. What we're waiting for on this side of the border, we basically copy what the U.S. does.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to mean that hybrids will be calculated here.
So here in Canada, by 2035, all new vehicles must be electrified. They include hydrogen cell vehicles, they include pure electric and plug-in hybrids. Hybrids are not part of that, but like you said, Zach, we should follow suit, or at least we hope.
Okay, so what happens pretty much north and south of the border is we have our regulations are homogenized. We see that for crashworthiness, bumpers, headlamps. You know, sometimes we go ahead, like we had the third brake light in Canadian cars long before the U.S. We had daytime running lights long before the U.S., but the U.S. got there, and I think it'll be the other way around. Plus, we're going to have an election here in the next year and a half, and I guarantee you hybrids will be included in the mix.
Yeah.
So this is good news. This is good news. Finally, common sense is prevailing. And the one thing I found when I read the news reports was they're not just targeting they're targeting the greenhouse gases. They're not just picking a winner. The problem was they picked a winner and they said it was going to be EV. And the market has said no. So the good news is car companies can hit hybrids quite easily.
Well, look at Toyota. You know, we were just recently at the Vancouver Auto Show and we spoke to Toyota about this. And I did say to them, like, on our channel, we really push forward with hybrids because we all know something that you plug in doesn't always work for everyone. And I can tell you that Toyota appreciates that because they do believe in hybrids and they believe the way that we believe. Plugging in something doesn't always work for everyone.
Yeah, and the other thing is it doesn't cost much more to get a hybrid.
No.
And you can run it and start reducing your emissions, which is the goal, by 30%. If that's the goal, promote things that achieve that goal.
Absolutely. So one other story, a viewer reached out. You know, sometimes with driver assist technology, especially lane keep assist on some models, people will shut it off because it is
annoying.
Yeah, it's a little bit aggressive and you're like, gosh, I hate this. Well, get this. A viewer was on his way. He lives in Tsawwassen, which is a suburb just outside of Vancouver. He was on his way to pick up his parents at the airport, and he took their 2017 Ford Edge, and it has the lane keep assist feature. Well, he was going through a tunnel which connects Tsawwassen, the area he lives in, to Vancouver.
Or Richmond, yeah.
Or Richmond to Vancouver, and he had a stroke. He could barely keep his hands on the wheel. He was in rush hour traffic going through the tunnel, and only 36 years old.
Wow.
He could barely keep his hands on the wheel. It was lane keep assist that kept him in the lane. He got out of the tunnel. He was able to pull over, get out of the car, and flag somebody. He's okay.
Well,
he's okay, but he has also a Jeep Wrangler that doesn't have that feature, and he is very happy that he took the edge that day.
Well, the only good news is going through the tunnel is if he did veer off, he'd hit the edge of the tunnel, and that would save him. If he was on
the other way.
If he was on the open road, he would go flying off the road. So just so you're aware, there's new technology. It's not in every car, but this is new technology where it actually has sensors, and basically it's sensors that, if you ever look at the videos that we produce, where we show the interior of the car, the camera can pick it up. You can't see it with your own eye, but the camera can pick it up, and it's like little red lights that are flashing on top of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
What that is it's basically a camera, an infrared, and when it can see if you're not attentive, right? It can see where your eyes are and if you're looking ahead. If you stop looking ahead, the car assumes you've had a medical situation. It will slow the vehicle down to a stop and put on the four-way flashers.
It was interesting. We were in France with Volkswagen, and we had a long day. We were driving the Volkswagen ID7, and we were heading back.
France, Andrea. Wasn't that nice?
Wasn't it great? Oh my gosh, we had so much fun. It wasn't that Zach was super tired. It's just that he was looking somewhere else, and the car felt that he wasn't focused on the road and he was tired. Anyway, in that particular model, the ambient lighting starts flashing at you. Something else came up on the screen to get your attention. It was really interesting. So something like that would be helpful, obviously, in a situation
For me,
like
it wouldn't
that.
work because I turn lane keep assist off.
I'm keeping it on now moving forward, just because I know that it's rare for someone who's only 36, but
The button is right there.
yeah, I'm going to keep it on because you just never know.
You're vital and energetic and
Doesn't
healthy.
matter. I'm sure he was vital and energetic at 36 too. So
Yeah, true that.
you just never know. So anyway, we're really happy that our viewer is okay, and he is on the mend.
Good. Now back to the questions.
Yes. When will you get to do a full evaluation of the Honda and Chevrolet EVs? So we've done the Honda prologue already.
Yeah.
We'll put a link so that you can watch it, or we'll put it in the description.
I think what you're maybe asking is when are we going to get it for a week here to drive for a week? So it'll probably be coming in the next few months, so we'll get a chance to drive it for a longer period of time.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then what was the other one? The Chevy?
The Blazer. I asked at the Vancouver Auto Show when the Blazer is going to be coming in. They think soon. So we have to wait for that one in the press fleet. Unfortunately, last December when we were invited on the Blazer EV event, we had another event that we had already accepted. It was actually the Kia EV9, I think.
But we
couldn't go.
Equinox has been delayed again. Equinox is delayed.
that.
So this was going to be the year of the big rollout for General Motors. It's kind of sputtering.
It is.
I guess you can't say sputtering for EVs because it's a gas term. It was short-circuited.
I think that they're smart to hold back. If there are issues, we saw that with the Blazer. They did a stop sale on that. You cannot send those out in the market if things are not right. It will just make people angry. Hey guys, when will you be reviewing the Nautilus? I've seen a couple of reviews, but I would like to hear your thoughts. Well, we spoke to Lincoln about it.
We touched on it earlier. We saw it at the Vancouver Auto Show. They had a special cocktails, food, little nibblies. The dim sum was good, and so was the sushi. I didn't have the oysters, but that's probably a good thing.
Oh my gosh.
I did have some white wine, though. No, I had a beer. Anyway, the car was there, and Andrew had it on Instagram. The one thing about it is, boy, it looks good. They had the head designer there. I talked to him.
Yeah.
And I said, I congratulated him for not having goofy door handles. It's got real door handles. And the inside is like wow. It's like one big screen. And you know, I criticized the BMW i5 for having the cheesy, tacky, gimmicky interior.
Yeah.
This one looks better.
You know what? I'm going to hold my thoughts on the big screen until I get in the vehicle. I just feel like, wow, it's really screened out. And I want to drive it, make sure I'm not distracted. I did ask them, can you do a quiet screen on there? Like maybe it would just be all black. You can change the graphics, but it can't be all black. So I don't know. I just feel like, why do we have to have so many
Exactly.
screens?
It's
You
cool.
know? It's cool. It's cool. They also unveiled the Aviator recently. It doesn't have that screen. Some people are saying, so happy it doesn't have the screen. Others are saying, I really wish it had the wraparound screen.
I think it's
Now,
going to sell incredibly well.
I think it is
I think
too.
it's so, first of all, a couple of things. It's right sized. It's a nice sized vehicle. It's 2-row, 5-passenger, just kind of like this.
Yeah.
It's available now with a hybrid, and we mentioned it earlier. You don't have to plug it in.
Yeah.
It's got the forward tech, and I think some people will like it.
So to answer your question, we spoke to Lincoln. They feel that there's going to be some sort of an event where we will be able to drive the vehicle at the beginning of May. So stay tuned for that. I know it's been a while. So that's it for us today. Thanks for watching. If you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday, I put a post out on Instagram asking for questions. Once we gather the questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you next time.